But here you go, the first tick on the index in just about a second from now. You have a very strong opening, 150 points in the green for the Nifty, 500 points for the Sensex, so charging away. The Nifty is at a fresh record high of 22,000. This is the first time ever that we've hit that 22,000 mark on the index. So very, very strong moves coming in. It's a party on the Loud Street, no two ways about that. Well, let's see who's leading from the front. It is the IT stocks, Wipro, HCL Mahindra, LTIMindtree, Infosys, all in the green. Wipro is up 10% right now. Huge move coming in on Wipro, and the early tick on the volumes are also pretty high. That's leading from the front. Remember, the numbers were muted, but they were better than the expectations that the street had put up. And I guess that's something, that the street likes. There's a bit of a relief rally there. Polycab, by the way, in the broader markets is starting to see some buying action, so don't lose sight of that. Up 2%, okay, 1% now on Polycab, so that's one stock to look at. And then you have Tata Consumer up almost about 2% odd. Just look at that, Nifty at 22,000. Big milestone is what we've hit over there. Tata Consumer, after those acquisitions, also looking pretty good, up about 2% odd. SBI, ITC, IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Auto, all leading from the front this morning. In fact, there are just a few stocks which are in the red. There's HDFC Life, there's Eicher Motors, HUL and Bajaj Finance. They're just a tad bit in the red. But really, the big breaking news this morning is that the Nifty has hit that 22,000 mark. So, kudos to everyone who's invested, retail investors, traders. This has been a market that's really dominated by a lot of the domestic money that has come through. And, the kind of impact that India has had compared to its global peers. I mean, across all fronts, right? We've been talking about all of the reasons ad nauseum, but very, very good opening.
And it appears we're just getting started and the music was playing. You needed to participate in some manner in this uptrending market. And the results are up for you on the screen. Well, let's pull up a few stocks, though. By the way, the Nifty Bank has opened up above the 20 DMA, mildly so. It's up close to around 200 points out. So the Nifty Bank is the key factor, I think, that I'll be tracking from here on if the Nifty needs to hold on to this 22,000 odd mark. From the broader markets, a few stocks that are in focus. Dhanlaxmi Bank, massive volumes out there. Their stock is up close to around 14%, so big mover out there. DB Realty, that's the other stock that's up close to around 10%, so that's moving very, very well. IRFC, that's another stock that's moved up. It's up close to around 5% in pre-open. And BHAL, post their order win, well, that one's up close to around 3.5%. Add to the list, Easy Trip as well. So plenty of stocks, just highlighted a few of them that are moving on rather large volumes. So keep an eye out on those stocks. And from the frontline F&O names, well, you have Union Bank that's up close to around 2.5%. Otherwise, most of the stocks trading with some mild gains. Alcom reacting to the negative piece of news that came in earlier today, so that's down to 1.5%. And Dixon, Nimish had pointed out that sell report coming in from leading brokerage, so that one as well, 1.5% lower. But 22,050, guys, and we're holding at that mark.
Oh, no, absolutely. So it's bright and early, and it is bright and early here in Mumbai. I may not be so in Delhi with the weather being a little foggy, but here it's sunny, the air is cleared up, but I think the view for the markets also cleared up, especially over the last 2 or 3 days, with a lot of help from the IT services pack. The index was up 5% yesterday. Wipro, of course, remember, Wipro did not participate that much on Friday. Here, in the India session on Friday. We saw a very outsized move in the New York session. The ADR went up 17%, and we are starting sharply higher here as well. Actually, we had Kavaljit recently with us before the IT earnings came through, and we asked him that question. Could kind of Wipro throw a surprise, out of the lot, because it's kind of been the stark underperformer, and of course, valuations, etc., are also the cheapest. Now, a few other names. IRFC is up about 6%. Stocks at about 120. Huge volumes on IRFC this morning. LIC is coming up with a 3.5% gain. About 856 is where LIC is at. I'll skip the tech names for a bit. DB Realty is coming up with about a 9% gain. Stocks at about 243. Again, huge volumes right now. I think we already mentioned Just Dial, which is up about 6.5%. 930 on Just Dial. Moti Sons, which is, of course, the recently listed company. Last week was absolutely stellar for this one. It's starting this week with a 5% gain. There is MRPL. Now standalone refiners, I think last week, especially last Thursday, was a very big day. 15 to 20% gains on names like MRP and Chennai Petro. MRPL starts with a 10-11% gain this morning. What else? Cyient is up about 3.5%, did well on Friday along with the IT rally. That's about it. I mean, if you look at the broader markets, this is the pack which is doing the best, which has got volumes on it as well. On the downside, HDFC Life is the largest volume-led loser. It's got about a 2% cut. You've got Zomato, which is down about 1%, is the number 2 volume-led loser. And of course, Nigel mentioned Dixon, which is down about 3% or so, and that's at number 3. Just one more name, Supreme Industries is selling off about 3.5%. It's got volumes for this point in the day, fairly large volumes. So keep an eye out on that as well. But it's 3-1 in favor of advances right now in the broader market, and the Nifty is up 160 points or so.